first off, here's the new pump that I got. It's called a Topsider. The reason they call it that is because it's intended to go up on top of the engine bay. It's pretty lightweight. It's just a big steel stamping that seems to be kind of crimped around. That's the pump making kind of a farty noise. But when you assemble this, there's something to keep in mind. There's these two rubber rings that go on the cap points. So they need to go in here like this. So pay special attention to the instructions. Otherwise you're not going to get a good seal. So I'm going to assemble this real quick. Just like that. So you get this piece, rubber ring on the bottom, and that's what you hook the hose onto. This little rubber sleeve goes around the outside of this hose. Come up here. That gets shoved in there. Yep, now I can start pumping. So I'm going to suck all this oil out. Just happens to be a good spot like this. I'm going to suck all this oil out and be right back. Now, one thing before you actually start pumping this, I had my engine warmed up because I knew that it was going to be more of a problem if it was cold, because as the engine oil heats up it gets thinner. So this does take a while. We're talking a pretty small diameter hose. But the nice thing about this kit is you can run this little hose right down your dipstick, and that puts it in the absolute lowest position on your oil pan for when you're pumping. So this is going to take a while, but once it's done, pretty much all the oil is going to be out. And I'm also going to move the thing around to make sure that I get as much out as possible. So just a tip, make sure to warm up your engine before you start doing this. It'll make it go a lot faster. And here we go, we're at the very bottom. So we got a lot of pressure built up in the tank because I pumped it a bunch of times. As you can see, we're not getting a lot out. Alright, so this is what we're going to be putting into the car. Mobil 1 Extended Performance 0W20 and a Fram Ultra Synthetic XG9688. The reviews online looked good for this filter. It's one of the very few that Walmart carried, so I figured I'd give it a shot. And after watching their website and looking at how it's constructed, I think it has metal end caps and a mesh weave. It's a synthetic fiber that's mixed in with the pulp for the filter, so supposedly it gets down around 15 microns or lower. So should be pretty good. Once I get this oil change done, I've got an extra one that I bought that I'm going to tear open and compare directly to the K&N. Okay, if you're occasionally ham-fisted like me and you crank your oil filler cap way down, you can use a tool like this to get it off. This thing was so bad that even using a rag and just cranking the thing, it was not coming off. So you can put this on here, get it cranked down so that this part is hooked onto that nod, that little nub, and then you can turn it and it breaks the thing loose. Otherwise, that thing was not coming off. I tightened it way too hard last time I did the oil change. So just an FYI, it would be nice if people would design these oil filler caps to have a little bit longer nodules on the end, but I know this is to clear the actual oil filter because there's not a lot of room. I mean, actually this needs some more oil too. And you always want to put some oil on the lip of your gasket as you're before you tighten it down. Otherwise that rubber can cook onto the engine. There we go, that's good. And you want to clean the area down there as I showed in my previous oil change video, so you don't get any little bits of dirt or anything that might have fallen down, and get all the dirty oil that might have collected in there. So I'm going to top off, and then we're going to cut these filters apart. Okay, now just at first glance, one thing you'll notice is the K&N clearly has a spring down in there. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. The Fram does not, but it has a different mechanism. If you reach down in there with your pinky, you can feel it does bounce in. I think it's a different kind of valve. They both have these rubber anti-flowback valves. You can see the orange in there. There's a rubber funnel-shaped piece that prevents oil from flowing back out. It only allows it to flow in from these holes. You'll also notice that the Fram has a lot more holes, so it may flow better and then hit the filter media more evenly or faster, more efficiently. I'm not sure how you'd word it, but let's cut these open and see what they look like. I'm going to do the K&N first. Yep, there was a lot of extra oil in there, so. Alright, so we got the two filters apart, and you'll notice a few things immediately. The flowback, anti-flowback on the Fram is pretty huge by comparison. It fits up into the filter, and then the end cap, both of which are pretty beefy. This little anti-flowback is just that big, and it doesn't really fit into the filter, so it's different. I don't know which one might be better. This one does have a little inset, so it sits down onto the K&N like that. This one goes down inside. It's a little simpler, a little cheaper. It is already cracking a little bit, but that might be for me cutting. It's probably for me cutting into it, because I was cutting all the way down there. So yeah, I probably nicked the anti-flowback valve. So the ports are different. K&N has 5 gigantic ports. Fram has a bunch of little ports. I mean, the overall size of those holes, they might be about equal, because these holes are almost twice the size as the other one. So if there's 10 holes on this versus 5 holes on that, the flow is probably about the same. One major difference, well, two. The K&N is an enclosed unit. This top part is spring-loaded. It's basically this thing from the Fram. And the spring and everything is inside the filter. Might be able to see that a little better this time. So that is a little bit nicer. Otherwise, you take this crap apart and you compare the filter media. This one feels like it's mesh backed. The inside, they're both just perforated metal, and it's running through a mesh backed filter medium. This has a lot more fins. This one's a lot thicker, I guess you could call it, but it looks like it's about the same material. It's as described on the Canon web, the Fram website, but it's not as even. I mean, you can see it's more pinched over here than over here. How much of a difference that's going to make, I don't know. I change my oil every 3,000 miles or so, so probably not going to notice a huge difference. But what I will say is, comparing these two filters back to back without doing an oil analysis, which I might do the next time I do an oil change, and then do another K&N oil change, and then compare those two oil analyses back to back, what I can say is the Fram does seem a little bit cheaper construction. I mean, the can alone, the can on the K&N is very nice and clean. The paint job, the stickers, everything is very nice. The Fram looks like it was a little bit thrown together. This one had a dent in the top of it, And I know that people have complained about Fram oil filters failing over the years, and that's usually because they got dented in manufacturing and there was a quality control issue. But that can happen with any manufacturer. So overall, it's got the same basic features as the K&N and other top high-end oil filters, but the construction quality, once you open it up, looks a little bit not quite as good. But I mean, it'll probably do the job. And if you're doing 3,000 to 5,000 mile oil changes, not waiting like 15,000 miles, it's not that big a deal. So, and I did notice that the Fram does have like a little bits of dust and stuff, probably from manufacturing. So that's a little bit of a concern, but not enough to really bother me. It's like just maybe little bits, maybe a few little bits of like sawdust or something that are already in the filter, so it's not like I'm dumping sawdust down into my engine. So as soon as the oil starts flowing, it's going to get stuck in the filter and not be a problem. So I'll do another oil change around 5,000 and get an oil analysis done. Well, 3,000. An oil analysis done. If they tell me I can go longer, then I'll probably switch to K&N, do another 3,000, and then do longer mileage comparisons back to back. So I don't get a lot of opportunities to drive my car a long distance because my commute is honestly like 5 to 10 minutes in the morning, and I mostly take my motorcycle out for the long canyon trips. So I'm going to be planning to do more car trips, and that should bump up the mileage because going down to Palomar is like a 300-mile day. But overall, I don't know, I'm pretty pleased. Like, this is a less expensive option. It's available at Walmart, which means it's pretty much nationwide. You can find them. So if you're in a pinch and you need something that's comparable quality to other high-end oil filters, yeah, just get a Fram Ultra. You'll probably be happy until you can get another oil change. So I hope that review helps, and the car should be running pretty well with the Mobil 1. I put about 5.4 quarts in. The official number is 5.8. I know, God, the Albino Rhino guys up in Utah, when they did their oil change how-to on the BRZ FT86 forums, they said they put in about 5 quarts and then topped off. I did the same, and I think the last time I tried to put 5.8 quarts in, man, it was just over full. So definitely get a jug like this, dump the whole jug in, run the engine for about 15 seconds, turn it off, check your oil level, and then top off as you need. You don't want to overfill, you don't want to underfill. But the nice thing about these jugs is you can just go full hog, dump the whole thing in, and then use a single quart bottle like this to top off. And I've still got, I think, about a quarter, yeah, 250 milliliters, so about a quarter quart. So, hope that helped you guys. If you have any questions, concerns, or things you'd like to see in the future, let me know. And I look forward to testing out stuff like this more often. Thanks.